Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank God. And I asked you some questions. You didn't, and I was thinking of that. Why he didn't answer me?
I couldn't hear you, and then I said, okay. For the longest time, and I was saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And then I went back to the screen, and then I
Yeah,
figured it out. Yeah.
I was going to. I was talking with my computer screen when I realized that it was so late. It was so late.
Oh well. Anyway, you're back, and that's good. That's good. So.
Um,
Yeah.
how was the article? How was the briefing? How
The
was the briefing?
how was the brief?
Summary. Yeah, I
I think.
tried to answer.
Well, I think your summary was okay. You just have to
Mhm,
remember you have to have a little bit of the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then give the conclusion. Kind of like
mhm.
organize it. Yeah,
Yeah, I need to more organize, I
yeah,
think.
I think
Okay.
so too. But I think I think your observations were excellent, though, until I couldn't hear you. Okay.
No, there's no problem.
Oh, that's good.
Thank
Okay.
God.
And all right, so we got I think five more questions to answer.
Okay. And I was going to replying to question one.
Okay.
I usually experience with old generation
Yeah.
because actually I can answer this question like this, especially my grandfather. Uh, in his time,
Uh-huh.
years ago, long time ago,
When
it was no technology. It was some maybe radio, TV shows, right?
yeah, like when I lived in Turkey, yes, we had tere,
Chair,
what? Beer and
TRT.
iki.
Yeah. Now it's only for TRT. TRT, I think.
Hmm.
There are so many TRT channels.
Yes.
TRT1, TRT2, up to TRT5,
Yeah.
and TRT News, TRT World, TRT Kurdi, TRT Geography, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Geography. Uh-huh.
Geography, and I don't say like about geography.
Mm.
Discovery, it's like Discovery. Anyway,
Yeah.
and there are so many channels, and expect that there is also internet in our life,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Hmm.
the problem is when I want to learn something, for example, how is life in Turkey, how is economic situation in Turkey, how is economic situation in Germany, right?
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
compare them, I can compare situation between Turkey and Germany,
Mm.
and I can learn what I should to do, right?
Hmm.
To reflect, um, reflect, no,
Reflect, maybe.
reflect. Yeah.
Mm.
This. I'm sorry. I need to learn this. Fix, not fix. I can say rectify. Huh,
Rectify. Uh-huh.
yeah. How we could rectify this problem?
Mm.
And the old generation, especially in my village,
Hmm.
they only know uh, they only know how to gain money, and they don't know about any technology. I am only talking about old generation in my relatives, right?
Yeah.
Not all of them, not about all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have some problem with them. For example, I tend to learn a new language and I want to improve myself about new technology and school and something like that, this kind of things.
Yes.
But according to them, it is one important thing: gain money, gain more money, gain more money. And when I want to improve myself, for example, like English,
Mm-hmm.
how many lyrics do you gain from learning English? I said, no, I'm learning English, and also I paid money to learn English.
It takes time, and it takes your money too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
According to them, if you want to, they tend to gain money suddenly, right?
Yes.
In short time. They don't want to have money. They don't want to have money for a long time.
No.
Because their life were completely different than in this area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The circumstances were completely different than this area.
Yeah.
And that's why I have trouble. I have been trouble. I cannot pronounce. I'm sorry. Troubling.
Traveling.
No, trouble.
Troubling.
Troubling with them about new circumstances, right? Especially education.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm going on my own about education and my life.
Mm-hmm.
I choose, I am going on my way.
Well, that's good because you're a self-starter. You don't need. Well, I don't know you that well, but in my opinion, you don't need other people to guide you. You can usually find your own way when it comes to finding a strategy or something that works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. There are other people that don't know what they're going to do and don't know how they're going to do it, and then they follow other people, and sometimes that's successful, sometimes it gets them in trouble, you know. But yeah, it all depends on,
Exactly, you're right.
yeah, and that's harder for the older generation to accept. For example, my son decided not to go to the university. He wants to make money by himself. Always wants to have a business, and he never has enough money. And he comes to me and he wants to borrow money. And I, I told him recently. I said, the Bank of Sam is now closed. I said, you're 26 years old. It's time to get a job, and it's time to be normal again. And
Wow.
but
What a good story.
but he still doesn't have a good job, and I'm just worried about him sometimes. That's all.
How old is he right
26.
now?
26.
26. He's older than me, 5 years old. He's 5 years older than me.
Yeah, and in some ways, you're more mature than he is. Yeah.
If that be better, he wouldn't hear it.
Well, you spend time in school, and you have a good, steady, secure profession, because they're always going to need nurses.
Thank God.
But I don't know. I shouldn't complain too much. I love my son, but I just wish that he prepared for the future a lot better than
Yeah,
he.
you only talk about his life for actually I knew a word. I knew a word which is I heard from some movies, but I don't know.
Uh-huh.
For his sake, right?
yeah, for his sake. Yeah, and I talk about him because I'm concerned about him. I'm concerned about his future.
Hmm.
He has a lot of good qualities. I mean, everybody loves him. You know, he has a good personality, and he knows how to work hard if he finds something that he's interested in. But I don't know. It's my generation gap with my own son. You know.
Actually, I want to meet him someday
Yeah. Well,
if you are available.
yeah. If he ever comes and you're here, that would be. He would love to talk. He loves to talk to people.
Wow.
Uh, in fact, I think he tried to get on Cambly about 2 months ago
Mhm.
during the COVID-19, and then Cambly said, "We're not accepting any new teachers right now," but I think they are now. I think they are accepting teachers. It'd be fun to have him on Cambly too.
Exactly. I
Doc,
love Cambly because Cambly is so fun,
yeah, and
funny.
he would be Dr. Sam Jr.
And actually, I did. I might be steal your son from you.
Ah,
Hello, hello.
yeah, he has more energy than I do, I'm sure. Yeah,
724. We say. I want to talk to him.
yeah,
724.
yeah.
How could you say in English
In
this?
English is 24/7. 24/7.
24/7.
Yeah, yeah, I would love to.
Huh? 24/7.
Yes. Sometimes, sometimes he does come over and talks to me all night, and I say, okay, all right, it's time to go to bed. I'm sleepy, and he says, Dad, don't you want to listen to me? And oh yeah, yeah. But I- it's all part of the younger generation because he doesn't like to find a job because he likes to sleep until maybe 11 o'clock in the morning, and then he stays up all night working on different projects or something. And yeah, so his hours are completely different than mine.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
I told him, I said, when we go to Turkey, I said it'll be perfect for you because there's 8 hours difference, and
Actually, someday I wonder what I gonna do when I go different uh, place, which is different hours place, right?
yeah, yeah.
Actually, I want to go to Korean,
Korea.
uh, Korea,
Yeah, I think it's 3 hours
Korea.
or 4 hours different from Turkey. Yeah,
Almost,
yeah,
almost. I have a friend in there, and we met each other in Istanbul. I was going to the Galata Tower, and he asked me, "Where is Galata Tower? How can I go there?"
yeah.
And I had him to go there, and actually I didn't know how to speak English with him.
Oh,
He, yeah, he was speaking English much more better than me, and and I meet him. I knew him, and I started to speak. I started to speak to him, right?
mhm,
And 2 weeks ago, I
mhm.
spoke to him again. Is that correct? To him,
I I spoke to him. Uh-huh.
I spoke to him, and he said, "Hamza, you are speaking English much better than first conversation." He
Yeah,
surprised a lot.
yeah. Well, I think the more that you have opportunity to practice, you're becoming more fluent, and you're able to think in English, which is good. Yeah. Someone asked me this morning. They said, "How can I think in English? How can
Mhm.
I think in English?" Um, uh, Sometimes I don't.
Exposing English is so important, as you said. If you are not exposed to the English, right? especially for me.
Mhm.
And you cannot think in English.
No.
You think in your main language. When you expose so lot for another language, you can think this language
Yeah, but
more.
you also need some structure to hold on to, you know.
Mhm.
That's why it's important to study or to find other resources too, because I spent hours and hours listening to Turkish, but I didn't have the right grammar until the second year, you know.
Wow.
So after that first year, I was just listening to noise, but I also was practicing the structure at the same time, and then eventually
Mhm.
it made more and more sense. It made more and more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you build a structure, right? You
Yes.
build a structure, and usually you put one piece, and then you build on it. You piece on it. You put on it
Yeah.
a piece, one more, and one more, and then you build a house.
Hmm. Yeah, but sometimes I think I'm building the right house, and then somebody comes and corrects me and kind of takes some of the house away. You know, I think I'm really good in my Turkish, and no, 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 you forgot to put the I at the end of everything. And I go, oh, uh, like the word lycée in high school. Okay, uh,
Mhm.
lycée, lycée,
Lise,
lycée, yeah,
not a, yeah, lise.
lycée, and
Correct.
but the thing is, a lycée, you say lycée si, like something like that.
Mhm.
Lycée si. Uh, and sometimes I forget to put the ending letter on the word. Uh, like
Yeah,
chorba,
many
chorba,
people suffering
chorba,
that.
chorba, chorba si, you know. Yeah,
Chorba, yeah, chip.
yeah.
Like,
And that's very difficult for me to remember. Yeah, uh,
exactly.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just all part of language, and because when people learn English, they overgeneralize a rule. You know, they want to use that rule for everything. And I do the same thing for Turkish too. Or I get
Mhm.
lazy because I think, okay, people can still understand me, but I'm making a grammar mistake, you know. So, and people, the Turkish people are so kind. They don't say anything when I'm making a mistake. You know, it's like, you know.
They usually try to help you
Yes.
when try
Yeah.
to speak Turkish with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And actually like this when I try to speak English with someone and whatever their country is, they usually help me and they don't never judge me
No.
about my grammar mistakes. No, you are speaking English so loud, and it's so important because your main language is different. Although
Yeah.
your main language is different, you try to learn another language and try to speak with someone
Yeah. Yeah.
with by confidence,
Yeah. Yeah. With confidence, and I think that's
with confidence.
I think that's the number one thing is to have confidence in what you know. And even if you don't know too much, I mean, you think your vocabulary is limited, use your limited vocabulary. And I think
Mhm.
I told you a couple, maybe three times, a Turkish student came and said he didn't want to speak English. He only wanted to speak Turkish. And I'm thinking, why? Why? You're paying to practice English. But it's his confidence level. And
Yeah, what an interesting. Actually, I have a problem with vocabulary. As you said, my vocabulary is so limited. and I am so lazy about learning vocabulary. And after when I get over
Yeah.
being lazy about vocabulary, I think I uh, would would speak English better,
Yeah,
and also
but you need your motivation increases when you have English for specific purposes. You know, for
mhm,
example, uh, you'll be motivated to learn English if you know what you're going to use it for.
exactly.
You know, what do you
Mhm.
plan to use it for? Before the lesson before you, I talked to someone in Izmir, and she says she wants to learn English for traveling. Well, English for traveling, just what is
It's not a good reason.
yeah, but English for traveling, you have to know the different phrases. For example, what do you say on the plane? What do you say when you get off
Mhm.
the plane? What do you say to the customs people? What do you say at the airport? And uh, she needed that guidance. Okay, I said, okay, English for traveling. What are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk? Are you going to talk to the person next to you on the plane? Are you going to talk to the flight attendant? You know,
Mhm.
and so she had to. We had to find different things for her to practice in different situations. That's why, what they call it, English for ESP, English for specific purposes. Yeah. And so if you find
Yes,
if you find out what you're going to use your English for, then we can practice that vocabulary, and that can increase your vocabulary. Uh-huh. But if you look at English
Mhm.
as some big thing and it's too big to handle, no, just cut your English up, you know. Uh, the
Yeah.
elephant, the elephant, one bite at a time, kind of thing.
Could you say that? I for I heard this. The
Yeah.
elephant.
You had you. How do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. Uh,
Yeah, I didn't know this.
yeah. How do you learn English? You learn it one piece at a time. One piece at a time. Yeah. Uh,
Okay, there's an elephant in the room, I think.
there's an
I
elephant in
I
there.
mix.
Yeah. There's a problem that everyone is ignoring. Yeah.
Yes,
And it's
they
a
don't
big
see the
problem. It's a
problem.
big problem, but nobody wants to admit that it's there. Yeah.
Actually, the problem is about speaking or learning more vocabularies, but most of people focus on grammar. As you
Yeah.
said, grammar, 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 grammar. Speaking no, speaking no. Like money no, money no.
Yeah. 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 But grammar in Turkey especially, or any other country, for the non-native speaker, okay, for the teacher, it's easier to study grammar because you can you can think that you're going step by step by step by step. But if you don't have practice with the conversation, the grammar goes away awful fast, you know. Yeah.
Do you know this exam? YDT, YDT,
The YDS,
YDS, right?
what is it called?
In Turkey, this is a sınav in Turkey. This is a sınav in Turkey to uh,
To measure your English ability.
to measure English ability, right?
Mhm.
And you can to take you can take this exam. You can take the exam without speaking, without listening. You
Really?
only need grammar and vocabulary, and
Ah,
that's why there are so many courses to take this exam,
yeah,
and they only give tactics. How could
yeah,
you solve this test?
yes, yeah. Then that's the problem in America too, with high school exams. They teach them
Yeah, like
how to
this.
take the test. Yeah,
But so nonsense because uh, so I met so many people who passed, who took this exam, right? The exam, and they could never, they could never,
put a sentence
uh,
together. Yeah,
yeah, they could never say anything in English. They cannot say, they can't even say, my name is whatever, I am from wherever. Anyway, they can't even say this
So
kind of things.
how did they pass the test?
They only learned grammar, vocabulary, and it's only them, right?
Hmm.
But they didn't speak in English. They take a course
Yeah,
on only to pass exam.
yeah, and they
It's so nonsense application.
yeah, but
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, but even if they pass the test, they get an interview with an international company and they say, "Well, I passed this test." And if they can't speak, they don't get the job. So, yeah, it's an
actually, it was a how could say this? Yeah, it was an advertisement in Cambly
yeah.
um, about learning English. It was a thief in the house.
Oh,
Uh, do you know this advertisement?
no.
The man who learning English on Cambly, and
Uh-huh.
he was talking with his friend
Uh-huh.
about the sound, right? The and and a thief come into the house,
Hmm.
and behind of him, teacher tried to say to him, "There's a thief in the house," and
Yeah.
he tried to what his teacher said. There's a thief in the house. No, I'm seriously. He's right there. He's right there. I said through the sound.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he's taking the tree. No, tree. And he tried to say three. No, without th.
Oh,
And
well,
um,
sometimes it's difficult, I know. Well,
and
I always
eventually he said whatever his name. Anyway, like Ahmed.
yeah.
Ahmed, I think he took everything.
Well, I hope that you can. I hope after our conversation you go away with something.
Okay.
We'll see
Teacher,
you next
thank
time.
you.
Take care. It was always fun.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Okay, always.